Yo, what's poppin', everyone? We are Minds That Matter. I'm your girl, Tassie Janae Jones. We got my girl, Shamoni.
Hey, hey, hey.
And we also got my dog, Nicole.
What's up?
Yo, what's poppin', everyone? Our objective is to promote positive dialogue that encourages forward thinking. We're striving to encourage and empower individuals through collaborative discussion. We hope you guys enjoy our dope conversations and content. Let us know what you guys think and hit us up.
And if you guys like the content we are bringing, make sure you subscribe to all our social media platforms at Minds That Matter.
Yes, everyone. So I want to introduce our guest today. He's been a guest on the show before. Everybody say hello to my husband, Mr. Derrick Jones.
Yo, what's going on?
What's poppin'? What's poppin', Papi?
Were we supposed to say hello to or no?
I mean, say hi. You never say hi. You never say thank you to the guests. You never say hi to the guests.
I don't say shit. But no, I appreciate them. I write it though. I type it out all the time in my post.
You're one of those people that don't show affection, but like, you know I care. So why the fuck are you asking?
I'm like, why you keep pressing me about it? But then again, I feel like I do show affection, and when I do, it probably be too fucking much. So then I just be trying to fall back because sometimes there ain't no balance. It's either all or like nothing.
But privately.
Yes, for sure.
Yo, I think your video just froze.
I'm sure it did.
There it is. Okay. So today's topic, we're going to talk about generational toxicity. That is a tongue twister. I've been trying to pronounce it all night just so that I said it right for you guys. And basically how your parent or family's exposure to something or trait or anything gets passed down each generation. Nicole, you brought up a very good point in regards to health. So do you want to touch up on that so people kind of can generalize what we're trying to discuss today?
Wait. Before she does that, I think it's important to let it be known that we just put some words together and made it up, essentially, because we tried to find an actual definition. So there's no actual definition.
Well, it's not made up. It's real. Like you can.
No, the word is real, but I'm saying as far as in the context that we're using, it's not.
Like, you can look that up. It's not.
No, I did.
Neverland.
I did look it up. I looked it up too because I was trying to actually find the actual word for her, so that way people won't be like, "That ain't what that means." You know what I'm saying? So we're using it in that context,
bringing clarity to the subject.
Right. So go ahead.
Right. Okay. So, the whole toxicity is something that's pretty much like poisonous. That's pretty much what that means. We all kind of know what generational means, I hope. Just something passed down per generation, decade, century, whatever the case may be. So just like a real quick example that I gave Tassie earlier, I don't really think was the best example, but it was just something that I read. Something that we could consider generational toxicity is like diabetes and like heart disease running in family, generation after generation, because families choose not to change their eating habits. Most times when asked about it, they don't necessarily think about their behavior, which would be the poor eating habits, contributing to the heart disease and the diabetes and stuff like that. Most times the answer is just like, oh, it just runs in the family, or my mama had it, my grandma had it, we all got it. But nobody really realizes that it's part of their behavior. It's kind of a consequence of the behavior that's been passed down from generation to generation.
And so the objective of stopping these traits so that, generations can prevent having these specific diseases would be, healthy grocery shopping, healthier meals, and regular exercise, and doing things that the generation before or taught, that they didn't do. You can take measures into your own hands by stopping this, by simply making better meals and making better choices, and then teaching those better choices to your youngins when they go on and teach their generations, hopefully.
Yeah, I just think that I wish that in some cases, I do wish that it was as easy as it is said done, because some people do live in like food deserts, or some people can't afford the healthier options, and sometimes the healthier options are just not available, period, in some cases. So you just have to do what you have to do. Yeah. But so I do kind of feel like that does contribute to, it's not necessarily just within the family, but it's also within
not having access,
environment, and not having access. But for those who can make the choice and can afford to change and make healthier decisions and stuff like that.
That makes me sad because people forget that that we have access to so much here in America, but even outside, there's so many people that don't have access to what we have access to.
And there's people right here in America who don't have access to what we have access to. You know?
That's true too. Damn.
That's what's really
that's breaking my heart.
Right. There's
Something
people
as
out
simple
here
as
like
clean water, like, you know.
Right, the whole Flint crisis, like that's wild.
Still without clean water. They're talking about it's gonna take billions of dollars to
find it.
Pipelines. Shit. Well, y'all got trillions of dollars to put shit on bullshit. So help Flint. Like,
right, yeah, for sure. They got it. Even if they had to borrow from other fucking states, like borrow a meal here and a meal here, like they got it.
Like Trump is trying to get this wall built. And instead of building this wall, trying to keep certain people out, you know, put that money towards
that's already here.
Exactly.
The people who are fucking citizens and shit, like it's cold. But back to the topic at hand. I know a couple of days ago, Derrick and I were kind of speaking about this, and I guess this is where I kind of came up with the term generational toxicity, because Derrick was making some valid points about how we pass certain things down and we kind of don't even know why. Something as simple as, you remember like when your mom used to tell you to do something, you would ask her why, and she would just say, because I said so.
Because I said so.
Exactly. And we just been saying the shit because we can, right? And because we grown. But in reality, we need to take the time to like explain things to our children and why, and not just say because I can, because I'm grown, because more than likely they're gonna be saying that shit when they grow up, you know. So I don't know, Derrick, do you want to kind of like elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, it kind of like you know, it kind of cripples our mindset, as kids, because we kind of like we don't get to open our minds and open, basically just open our minds to any possibility of just having a conversation with our parents, because like we said, they would say go do this and do that. Just something as saying, like, simple as saying why is looked at as disrespectful in the Black household if you are, a child.
You can't say shit back, boy. You can't question nothing. You can't stand up for yourself.
Don't talk back to me.
Right. You can't even look at, parents the wrong way. And it's, as kids, we don't fully know what disrespect means. We honestly want to know. Like, why do you want me to do that? Or, but the first thing is, in a Black household, they take it as disrespect. When we honestly asking a question as far as why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Or, why did I get in trouble for this? Or why are you mad at me for this? It's just, looked at as blatant disrespect. And there's no real answer as to why it's disrespectful. It's just like you said, because I said so.
Don't do as I say do.
Yeah.
Do as I say do, don't do as I do, or something like that.
Some shit. We get where you're going. I think that sometimes our parents don't know why because they weren't even told why. It is what it is,
And that's
so they can't really explain something to us if they don't really know and understand it themselves.
And that's what I mean by crippling our mindset, because we grow up like that. So when we become parents, we pass that generational toxicity to our kids, and then they pass it to their kids, and then and then the crazy part about it is, rest in peace to my mom. I used to ask her, like, why is she not so hard on my daughter, like I was, and then she would ask me, Derrick, why are you so hard? Why are you so hard? And now I would look at her, because you was that way with me. I didn't really have an answer. That was just my answer, like, because you were that way with me. There was no real specific answer as to why.
No logical reason as to why.
Exactly. Only because, Mom, you did it to me and I turned out to be a good person. But, is that, like I said, that's crippling Serenity's mindset, because now she doesn't know why she got in trouble. All she knows is she just got in trouble.
Because my dad said don't do that.
Because my dad said so. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's no explanation. So.
Is that the same thing with whoopings?
Yeah, when you just whooping your kids and you're not telling them why, they just think they just fucking own. Yep.
And they don't know what they did wrong, but they know that if they do this again, it's going to inflict pain.
Yes. So they understand, like, okay, I'm doing something to get pain, to get hit, but like, what am I doing that's so wrong?
We know the objectives for them not to do that again.
Yeah.
They know, like, they understand, like, I don't want another whooping, but like kids get more than one whooping. So now they got to learn several.
So like, what did I really do to lead up to this?
Right. Like it's not this plus this equals this. It's more like, this hurts today. This hurts again. Like,
right. So yeah, you definitely have to take time to explain stuff.
I'm running away.
Right. Like I'm not here for it. But Derrick, like you did bring up a good point. You said that you pretty much wanted to raise Serenity how your mother was doing you, and because you had turned out fine. So in your mind, and I'm sure like in a whole bunch of other people's mind, people who have kids, they think the same thing. Like if I do what was done to me and I'm okay, that means my kid is going to grow up to be okay as well. However, that's not always the case because you don't know how your children is going
to turn out.
Right. And you're supposed to get better and better with these generations. So if I do the same exact thing, Serenity is going to pretty much, I would want her to turn out the same exact way that I did. But instead of repeating that cycle, why not improve on that? Instead of whipping her every single time I feel she's disrespectful, talk to her about it. She's growing, and these kids are a lot smarter.
They're a lot smarter than
and she for sure understands.
Exactly. So
I had a conversation with somebody today. They was talking about that, like when you silence a kid's voice because you feel like they being smart, how do you know you're not silencing their destiny? So, for example, you got a daughter that's very argumentative, and she's challenging you, and she's challenging your authority and what you're saying because you just saying it. What if she turns out to be the world's best lawyer? You just silenced her voice by not explaining to her or not having a conversation with her or giving her the ability to learn what you were doing.
Or teaching her when it's the right time for her to be vocal in that kind of manner. And
exactly. So what you're supposed to do is channel that instead
silencing
of
it.
Right. And Shannon, building off of that, I mean, I read this article, well, not article, but I read this thing, and it was basically saying we're all natural born scientists. And the way they explain it is we all do crazy stuff, whether it's good or bad. We all experiment as kids. And then the first thing I thought of was, well, in the Black household, in the African-American household, you're told to not do that if parents don't understand or they don't want you to go down that road or they don't want you to do a certain thing. They say, hey, you better stop that. I don't know what you're doing in there, but stop it. Like Serenity,
they fear that unknown.
Like she used to get up all in the hours of the night and just fill up a cup of water and just go into her room. I had no idea what she was doing. I still to this day had no idea what she was doing. But who's to say whatever she was doing could be the next best invention if she keeps doing it for the next 10, 15 years. But all because I told her to stop doing that, I'm kind of cutting her imagination short and kind of trying to force her into the quote unquote real world and, just basically blocking everything off. Exactly. So I no longer do that. Now, whenever I catch Serenity doing something, I don't get mad at her. I don't yell at her. I just ask her, why? Why did you do it?
And then when my daughter opens her mouth to explain something, she gonna give you the whole thing. Like,
and I realized that's all I wanted to do. That's all we want to do as kids. We just want to tell our parents why we did it. I don't want to get a whipping. I don't want to be put through pain every time I do something that you don't understand. You didn't give me a chance to explain it to you. And because I'm a child, you already, pretty much generalizing everything I say is nonsense.
Missed my whole point anyways.
Exactly, because you think I don't know what I'm talking about, but in reality, a lot of these kids have valid shit to say.
Some of them kids need their ass beat though too.
No, yeah, some kids really need to be whooped.
Yeah,
and sat down and talked to and told because I fucking said so. My gosh.
Yeah, a lot of things can be. Well, I got a question. What about welfare?
What about it though?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So I'm asking because like we're talking about specific like behavioral things being passed down, but like what about being in the mindset that you have to be on welfare in order to survive, and then you're transferring that mindset to the next generation? Does that count as generational toxicity, or is that a whole different?
Hell yeah.
You're teaching your child to be dependent on a system that is fucking not really necessarily.
I feel like it causes progression because
it does.
It
automatically seeing that you don't like you're forcing them not to look for work because there's requirements in order to be on welfare because it's supposed to be a need.
Right.
On top of the fact, you're reinforcing the stereotype and the reason why it was created. It was created to force Black men out of the homes to tear up the family. So you're just reinforcing that idea that you don't need no man in your life to help take care of these kids because you can get money.
Now we got a single parent with several children or dependents, and then they're now on the system.
Mhm.
And then once the younger kids become of age, now they're getting on the system and teaching their kids, hey, this is how you get free food. Do this. But now if that person didn't know that or didn't think, what else would you do at 18 years old? You're going to go get a job, possibly go to college, obtain a degree, be educated, make some money, go grocery shopping with the money you earn, and start learning how to budget, learning credit. That's another one. Credit. Like, people don't.
That's a big one.
Mom, I don't know. My mom never sat me down and taught me credit. My mom was amazing, but I didn't know what credit was. I just knew not to get a credit card and not use it up. Like, that was it.
Right.
I never sat down and taught. Hey, you have to budget. Hey, you have to make sure you don't go splurging on your new expenses because you are innocent in this world called purchasing power. So, I went on a tangent. Sorry.
No, you can be valid points. I'm telling you, if you can be financially dependent, the system gonna control you forever, and that was what they think.
And I think it's important too to express that we're not saying like if you need the services, don't get them. That's absolutely not what nobody's saying by far. But what we're saying is don't become dependent on it, and don't let that be your only source of income, or don't let that be your forever source of income.
And when you say forever source, not just you and your children and the generations to come.
Right. Use it towards benefits and get the benefits associated with. Take the classes that they provide you. Go to the Career Services Center and get you a job. Do the job development training they offer behind that. Use it for its resources and then get out. Don't stay dependent on that.
Some people show up, and I've heard this from clients, like they'll show up and they'll just get through it. Everything that's being informed to them that day is going in one ear and out the other, and not taking advantage of the opportunity laid out in front of them. And then they're stagnant. Like, there's no progression.
Right.
Derrick, what do you have to say about all that?
He had a question.
Well, I forgot my question, but it's an interesting point. Do y'all think that, the system is set up to help or to keep people on that? Exactly. Yeah. So I was gonna say, like, they make it, especially in California. Me, Shannon, and Tasha was all in that training when it was like, we want them to get, approved. We want to give them as much as they can, but we never heard of, we want them to get out of it too. You know what I'm saying? So
because they don't.
It's the system keeps people. I feel like it's a trap. They make it to where welfare becomes like a way of life. So you basically become dependent on it, and the more dependent you become on it, the harder it is to get off.
And then coming from California here to Texas, I was like, dang, Texas is harsh. Like, they don't want to help nobody. But then in the same breath, once I really started paying attention, it's no, they want you to be sufficient on your own. So they're not going to give you something forever. Right. And then they're giving you the bare minimum. I think that's partially also to kind of motivate you to see, like, you ain't gonna be able to survive off this, so you need to really go try to find your own way. Texas is one of them
pull yourself up by your bootstrap type of states.
Yes. And at first I didn't understand it. I think maybe that was more just the empathetic part of me. But then as I got to really assess it, I'm like, nah, they like a trial. They'll give you a trial, and you take this trial and you do what you need to do type of deal.
So it's basically like, here's some help. You got an expiration date.
Meet me halfway.
Get yourself together. You got this much time, and then get done.
Right.
Okay. Right. So, and that's important, because I think that means the system is being used the right way. That means that
No, not necessarily. It means that they're trying to use it the right way.
I mean, if you're going to set people find loopholes, try to do it in a way that try to help benefit that. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Pertaining to this generational toxicity or toxicity in general.
Big ass.
I know. I'm surprised I'm saying it right. But anyway, my question is passive aggressive behavior. I asked this question on Instagram, what are some of the generational things that were passed down and that was toxic to your family? And one of my sisters replied and she said passive aggressive behavior. So I'm just introducing that to y'all to kind of get your thoughts on it. Like, do you think that passive aggressive behavior can be toxic into adulthood or just in general?
Yes, for me, unfortunately. Well, I don't want to say unfortunately. Like in my relationship in the beginning, I was independent and I was very loud and aggressive, and I know I got that from my mama. Like, you know, like I just feel like an argumentative. Like I feel like I didn't grow up with two parents in the household. My daddy was doing his own thing, and my mama, y'all know me, had to raise us by herself. And my sister basically raised me too. So I didn't have the modelship of being sitting down and communicating. And as you guys know, communication is key in a relationship. I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna be loud. I'm gonna be aggressive because I saw my mama do that. She built this wall against people because she felt like she had to hold her own for her and hers, like, you know. And I feel like that's what I had to do. But then I had to realize I actually do have a person in my life that's he's still here, and then we have to communicate in order to figure out how to proceed with something. I can't be so loud, so aggressive, and so dismissive, one-sided, like all these different traits that come is just it's passed down and taught based off what I learned or what I saw. And now that I'm in my own relationship, I'm learning and seeing something different, and it doesn't have to be as toxic. And now that my daughter sees that me and her daddy are always happy or in love, which happens when you see Serenity, she's always happy and lovey-dovey, and you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's interesting you pointed that out because me and Bradley legit just had that conversation. Like literally 20 minutes ago before we started, like 20 minutes before we started, because I was telling him I was sitting at this training and we were having a conversation, or we were having a discussion, and we were talking about how certain things is a chain reaction, and it takes one person's reaction to to that event to try to change it. And I was talking about how me and him have made the decision to not yell when we argue. Like, we don't yell at each other, we don't cuss at each other, we legit just talk. So it could be a heated conversation, but I will never go past a 2. He definitely never goes. Sometimes I can peak about a 7 and then I'll bring it back down because I realize what I'm doing. But he never goes past. He never goes past his 5. And I was commending him. I was like, because I said I realized that's the type of communication that I wanted because of what I've seen. I'm modeling something different, and then I have to remind myself when I do that to bring myself back down.
And I commend you, or even all of us, that we are making the decision to make a change, because some people are stuck in their ways.
Right.
Yeah, that's a trap.
Yeah.
Like, oof,
I commend
that's a trap.
who realizes that out of you. Your behavior, whether you want to admit it or wrong, if you're allowed to put your pride aside and say, look, as an individual, I do not want this type of energy. I don't want to put that out there, especially to someone you care about.
Right.
You know, make a change. To say it in Michael Jackson's voice.
And it's interesting, those behaviors are learned. Like, a lot of stuff that we do just based off the whole general topic is learned behavior. So you have the ability to change it. It's just, when are you going to want to,
and when are you going to recognize that it's toxic?
Yeah.
Right.
Because some people don't know they're the toxic person in a relationship.
Yes. Or
right. Or they even contributing to
friendship. I have friends who are the toxic.
Ooh, go ahead and say that word. Go ahead, say that word.
Negative all the time. And you can damage relationships with people.
You can.
Being that way. When are you going to say, I don't want to be?
More importantly, you just damage yourself, you know?
Yeah. Like, do you want to keep that type of energy like that all the time? Like, even people post stuff on Facebook and it's like negative, and I don't know. I just pray. I pray for people's peace. I pray that, you know, as a generation now, like now that we're becoming our own adults and our own families, maybe soon, one day, I don't know about y'all, you know, but we pass down healthy behaviors, healthy traits, progressive mindsets, open, creative mindsets. Y'all got anything to touch on that?
Derrick,
Yeah,
you wanna
Derek,
add
you want to
to
Yeah,
help us
man.
wrap this up?
As the main thing is just, focus on growth. Growth as being, who you are. And, whenever you become parents, passing that on to your kids, don't try to emulate exactly what your parents did. Instead, trying to find new ways to make your child a better you, not just grow up in a better environment, just to be a better person. And, it start with kids. So, that's, that was my whole topic about this.
Not even just parents. Like if you're like a teacher or like
A doctor,
or anything, if you have access
salesman.
to someone younger than you or even older than you, because sometimes you can teach.
Yeah, that's the problem sometimes. That's a lot of the problem. These older folks.
Yeah.
Can't teach them nothing because they stuck in their ways and they the toxic shit that just
they ways, bruh. Like,
I'm telling you.
To a point where the point where you wrong because you thinking different.
Exactly. You wrong. You the worst thing on the planet. You don't know nothing. Y'all young motherfuckers.
And then the first thing they say is, see, back in my day, well, pimp, we ain't back in your day. We years ahead of you.
And that's the problem because y'all wasn't
years ahead of you. You had a briefcase.
Tools and education back then, and they didn't even know what's up.
You had a briefcase to carry your phone. Our phones fit in our pockets. We got phones on our watches. Come on, man! Like
exactly. We talking about this new technology.
You can't put everything. It's different. It's different.
Somebody sent me this quote the other day, and it's about anxiety, but I'm a twist it into what we're talking about. But it was really interesting, and it made me think about this whole conversation, especially the end. But it says, nobody is born with anxiety. Anxiety is a surge of energy. It's picked up along the way. At some point of our life, something or a series of things happen to us, cause us to absorb energies that aren't who we are at our core. At our core, we are grounded, peace, and at ease. This is our natural state of being. Whenever you feel a surge of anxiety coming on, tell yourself it isn't mine. So just like with those negative traits, that isn't yours. That was somebody else's that you're emulating. Release it. It isn't yours. Let that toxicity go.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You sound like Reverend Forbes right now. You sound like you need to.
Right?
She did sound like she was giving out a closing sermon.
Somebody need to say, yes, Lord.
Yes,
say that.
Come on, somebody. Better say that.
I'll take it. It's fine. But no, that's real. Like legit real. And that resonated with me. And I got that like earlier this week. So a lot of times it's good for you to realize like those traits and those behaviors aren't you at your core. So find where your piece is and become who you want to become, because it ain't always good to be a negative person.
Nah,
like it's not.
That's out.
We promote peace, y'all.
Peace, positivity, and healthy choices.
Positivity and progression. The 3 P's.
I didn't even think about that. That's pretty cool.
I know, we popping. We are minds that matter.
Well, if you guys like the content we are bringing, help us by continuing the conversation. Comment in the descriptions below. Let us know if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to throw some topics at us, feel free to do so. Do us a favor and join us on all social media platforms. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to all the podcast content. And remember, guys, we are
Minds that matter. Peace, y'all.